Alpine managed to lose 2 drivers in a matter of just a couple of days, and that isn't something you can cope with well. Plus, you can't put excuses as to why the drivers are just literally running away from your team so often. Ricciardo left in 2020, Alonso left in 2022, and Piastri left before even having a shot at the starting seat. Therefore, the question has to be asked, what's wrong with Alpine? How do they always find a way to scare away their drivers and literally groom talent for their rivals? This video will tell you more about it, so stick around with us until the end of it. Alpine is currently holding the P4 spot in the Constructors' Championship, battling with McLaren for P5. This only adds to the narrative that drivers should literally kill to have the opportunity to drive in the French team. After all, Ricciardo did finish P5 with them in the Drivers' Championship and scored a couple of podiums after the team had a very long pause in this field. Yet Ricciardo jumped ship in 2021 and left for the fiercest rival in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren. On top of that, Piastri did the same maneuver, with the difference that he didn't even taste the F1 seat of Alpine. In what turned out to be one of the most interesting sagas on the grid, Alpine has managed to lose 2 drivers in a matter of just 2 days. When Vettel announced his retirement, Alonso saw the opportunity to secure himself a more stable deal compared to the one Alpine was offering him. Prior to the announcement, Alonso's chances were to either accept Alpine's deal or step down and let Piastri debut for the team. Alpine offered him a 1+1 deal, meaning that the team had an option for the second year in Alonso's contract, and that's not something that Alonso wanted. In Aston Martin, the Spaniard has secured 3 years, $15 million each, and we see the difference between how Aston Martin treats drivers with experience and proven champions and how Alpine does it so. Quite frankly, Alpine did have a replacement for Alonso ready backstage, and that was Oscar Piastri, so you can understand why they used him as a bargaining chip. But they didn't treat him with enough respect, and the fact that they reacted so passively to secure a seat for Piastri in 2023, whether that was Alpine or Williams, led to the sequence of events that saw Piastri leaving the team and joining McLaren. Things were very painful for Alpine since Piastri signed a prenup deal with McLaren on the 4th of July, which only goes to show that he didn't believe he will race in Alpine anytime soon. The Enstone-based team wanted to strike a deal with Williams that would see them taking Renault's engines from 2024 and beyond and putting Piastri there. They would have completed their part of the deal, which was secure a seat for Piastri in 2023 in either Alpine or Alpine-affiliated team. Well, Piastri knew better than to just sit on the sidelines and hope, which is why he secured himself a seat in McLaren. There has been an ongoing saga between all of the sides involved, but the final outcome is that Ricciardo has agreed to buy out terms with McLaren for the 2023 season, since he was under contract for that season, and Piastri will race for McLaren for at least seasons. Now, one has got to ask himself, what's wrong with you, Alpine? They lost a 2-time world champion and a champion in the making, given the fact that Piastri won the F3 and F2 championships in just a matter of days. They also lost a driver 2 years ago in Ricciardo, so something must be off, right? Well, it seems like the team doesn't know how to treat its own drivers, and that's why they are choosing different environments to thrive in. Not many fans know that Zhou was also a part of Alpine's academy in 2021, but chose to drop out of it since he didn't see any prosperity and future with the team. By doing that, he was able to secure himself a seat in Alfa Romeo, and we see how good the rookie actually is in an underperforming car. Therefore, you could consider Zhou as one more loss for Alpine, although he never got a chance to seat in any Alpine-affiliated seat in F1. Ricciardo's departure from the team is surely something that left many people raising their eyebrows or scratching their heads. The Aussie had an amazing season in 2020, finishing P5 in the Drivers' Championship, and yet opted out to fill the vacant spot in McLaren left by Sainz. Keep in mind that Ricciardo left Red Bull in 2018 because he didn't have much trust in the Honda engines that Red Bull has equipped its cars with from 2018 and beyond, and just 2 years later, he's leaving to the fiercest rival of Alpine. There is another departure that not many F1 fans have been accommodated with, and that is the one of Alain Prost. Alain is a 4-time world champion and had the role of a senior advisor for the team. According to Alpine CEO Laurent Rossi, the team no longer needed advice from Prost in the upcoming period. On the other hand, Prost didn't go silent about this thing, saying that Rossi wanted all the light. Imagine that you're losing drivers and senior advisors so quickly that you barely have time to just sit and think, what is wrong with us? So many people have left the team, there's got to be something that we're doing wrong. Well, we'll share one fact that you might find amazing or terrifying, but it's the truth, unfortunately. Alpine has never hired a driver from their academy. Yes, you heard that correctly. The team is always hiring drivers from other teams and academies, and they indeed have one of the best academies in F1. For example, apart from Zhou and Piastri, Jack Doohan is currently racing under Alpine's academy, and he is having a very decent season in F2. He is also likely to finish in the top 5 and is already eligible for a super license and for a spot in F1. But here comes the interesting part. Alpine isn't interested in bringing Doohan as the replacement for Alonso. They would rather work him a deal out in a team like Williams, with the same pattern followed as they did with Oscar Piastri. True, bigger teams like Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes do leave some time to their drivers in their affiliated teams such as Sauber, AlphaTauri or Williams prior to them signing for the senior teams. However, these are teams that already have established affiliated teams on the grid, unlike Alpine. The French team doesn't have the luxury of negotiating deals with less performing teams such as Williams, and it seems like they aren't willing to learn a thing or two from their mistakes. They lost Piastri thanks to the same actions they are planning to implement upon Doohan, while they are considering drivers like Giovinazzi in Hülkenberg, who have been in F1 but haven't really proven anything. If Alpine wants to sign Gasly, which departure from AlphaTauri strongly depends on the decision that the team makes regarding Nick de Vries' signing as his replacement, then we would understand this move. Gasly has proved to be very good at driving an underperforming car in the last 2 seasons, and now that it's obvious that he won't see another day in Red Bull's senior team, it's time for him to move to a team that could secure him some podium finishes in the future. The most interesting factor about this is that Rossi, Alpine's CEO, plans on shutting down the Alpine Academy after the Piastri saga has unwound down as it did. According to him, there isn't any point in grooming F1 talent, investing so much intel and finance in them, and in the end they choose to drive for another team. But the solution to this problem is quite easy, and all you have to do is just give these youngsters a full-time job in an F1 seat. True, it's not that easy finding one, but now that you have a vacant spot that's ready to be taken, don't throw this chance away and just put someone from your own rows down there. When talking about Alpine's academy and it being shut down, Rossi said, "The problem it creates is that makes the market too fluid a place. That endangers the stakeholders that invest in it. If you decide that you're going to save money every year by not investing in drivers, and then you just poach them with that money you saved, it's a different proposition. I'm not sure, therefore I want to continue training those drivers, or I'm going to have to lock them in with a contract that might not be appealing to them." With that being said, it's evident that F1 drivers are looking away from Alpine, mostly due to the fact of how they treat their own drivers. This is why they might have more problems in the near future, since not many drivers would be keen to take that spot. Although the team's principal Otmar Zafnauer said that there are more than 14 drivers interested in that seat, the narrowed choices aren't promising a lot, except for Gasly and de Vries. What do you think about Alpine and the way that they are treating their drivers? Let us know in the comments below.